Thursday, Dec 26th, so my mum decided to give me a journal for Christmas. Not a modern electronic one, but an old-fashioned one, with paper and a book binding. My mum is kinda old school. She even taught me how to write in cursive. I bet none of my friends could write by hand. Well, I would bet if I had any friends, which I don't. When I first unwrapped it, I said, "You got me a diary?" "It's not a diary, it's a journal," she replied. "What's the difference?" A diary is a strict chronological record, while a journal is more free-form. You can write about your experiences when you consider them important, but also you can write about your feelings, impressions, or just about anything you wish to write about. So at least I don't have to record what I eat for breakfast every morning. I guess I should start by introducing myself, in case someone who doesn't know me finds this journal someday. My name is Samantha May Cooper, although everyone calls me Sam. When I went through my tomboy stage as a child, I insisted that everyone call me Sam, and even though I no longer care, Sam sort of stuck. My parents are pretty normal as parents go, and generally I have no complaints on that score. I am a junior at Jefferson High School and the star of the girls' volleyball team. I am so good at volleyball because I am 5'12". I know what you are thinking. Isn't that 6 feet? That is true, but 5'12" just sounds shorter. I am taller than all the girls in school, and most of the boys. The girls don't like me towering over them, and the boys treat me like I am a freak, a lesbian, or both. It makes it really hard to have friends. Monday, Jan 6th, so it has been almost 2 weeks since I wrote the first entry in this journal. I guess I just had nothing to write about, but that has changed now. So today was the first day of the new semester, and I just assumed it would be like all the previous ones. The girls would ignore me and the boys would pick on me, and the only relief from my frustrations was to spike on some poor girl who can't jump up and reach over the net like I can. But this morning, I was in for a surprise. This morning, my homeroom class got a new student, a girl named Aubrey Carter. So what is so special about that? Simple, she is 5'12", just like me. I looked at her feet expecting to see high heels, but she was wearing these cute little flat booties. Have I finally found the only other girl on this planet who also belongs to the 6-foot club? I know there is that lady from Game of Thrones who is 6'3", but what are the chances I would ever run into her? Anyway, Aubrey took the desk next to me, which was not surprising since it was the only empty desk in the room. Nobody ever wants to sit next to me. "Hi," she said, "I'm Aubrey." It was kind of silly for her to give her name since Mr. Ferguson just introduced her in front of the class. Oh, by the way, that is how I knew she was as tall as me. When she was standing next to Mr. Ferguson, she was as tall as he was. Since I remember that I am as tall as Mr. Ferguson, that means that Aubrey is the same height as me. "My name is Sam," I answered back. "Is that short for Samantha?" she asked. "Well, yeah. Do you mind if I call you Samantha?" "No, I don't mind at all. Other than the fact we are the tallest 2 people in the class, not counting Mr. Ferguson, we seem on the surface to have nothing in common. For example, our wardrobes. I was wearing a tracksuit. I am always in athletic wear. She was wearing a long dress with a flower pattern on it. I had my hair pulled back in a ponytail held together by a rubber band. Her hair was loose and had these waves in it. She was also wearing makeup. It wasn't much, just some eyeshadow and a little blush, but it was much more makeup than I wear since I never wear any. Of course, she may have only been dressing up for her first day, and tomorrow she will be dressing down like the rest of us slobs. I guess I will find out tomorrow. Tuesday, Jan 7th, forget dressing down. I think she dressed even better today. A different dress today and a pair of slippers. Flats, of course, not the boots she was wearing yesterday. She had her face done up again, and her hair all styled. I think she was even wearing pantyhose. Who wears pantyhose nowadays? We got talking, but just like yesterday, homeroom is so short that it was over just as the conversation got interesting. But then I got a present surprise. Aubrey and I have the same lunch period. I ran into her in the line and we got a table together. Now we had much more time to talk. We talked about how bad the food was and what we like to do outside of school. I told her about 6-girl volleyball. 6? She said with surprise, "When I have seen them play on TV, there are only 2 players. That's beach volleyball," I replied. "We have 6 players, a larger court, and we play indoors. Do you still have to wear those skimpy bathing suits?" Thank God, no. It is so nice to have someone to talk to at lunch. Friday, Jan 10th, I think I am becoming obsessed about Aubrey's wardrobe. Every day, she shows up in a different dress and a different pair of shoes. How many pair of shoes can one girl have? I guess I always assumed that a girl as big as me would look stupid if she tried to dress all feminine. That is the excuse I always gave my mum when she would suggest that I could dress more like a girl. Nonsense, she would say. High fashion models are all 5'10" or more. Still, I refused to believe it. Yet, Aubrey seems to be able to pull it off, and she is definitely not a rail-thin waif model. Her shoulders look like they might be as broad as mine. When I asked her about her shoes, I discovered that her shoe size is actually larger than mine. I always assumed that I had feet that would make Bigfoot jealous. Thursday, Jan 16th today, we had a home game against Fillmore High. We played down in the ratty old gym as usual. The basketball teams only had practice today, so you would think that they would allow us to have the new gym for the game, but no. We can't ask the basketball princesses to practice in the old gym. That would hurt their delicate constitutions. The old gym is just fine for those volleyball gutter snipes. They should know their place. We don't draw a big crowd for our games. Usually there are more girls on the court than there are people in the bleachers. My parents always have to work, so they are never there for weekday games. The people who do show up, friends and family of the other players, do let up a little cheer whenever I score, but that is mostly for the team, and not just for me. But today, I discovered that I had a cheerleader, Aubrey. I remembered she asked me when and where we played, but I assumed she was being nice, so I was completely surprised when I ran out onto the court and saw her sitting in the stands. Every time I scored a point, she would let out a cheer. Soon she had the rest of the small crowd cheering me too. I think I played my best game. No ball got past me, and my spikes came down like rain. We won, which is not surprising, since we have a better team than Fillmore, but what was surprising is that we routed them in straight sets. They were never in contention. After the match point was scored, and we all shook hands, as I was walking toward the locker room, Aubrey came up to me. "Oh, Samantha," she said, "you are magnificent. If I were not already red-faced from the match, I am sure I would have blushed." Saturday, Jan 18th, so Saturday's game was away at Adams High, so I thought that there was no way Aubrey would be there, but when I ran onto the court, there she was in the visitor bleachers. She let out a cheer, and I gave her an embarrassed smile. How did she get there? Well, she must be my good luck charm, because I had another excellent game, and we won easily. Friday, Jan 24th, so on Friday, Aubrey asked me to go to a movie with her on Sunday, which is my day off from volleyball. "Sure," I replied. "Is there anything good at the theatres?" "Well, I was thinking about an older movie called Random Harvest," she said. "It's showing at the Repertory Cinema. An old movie, like from the 90s? A little bit older than that, say the 40s. 40s? You mean 1940s? Is it a silent movie?" "No, it is not a silent movie, but back during its original run, people had to avoid dinosaurs on the way to the theatre." Sunday, Jan 26th, all right. Journal, get ready for a workout because this is going to be a long entry. So Aubrey picked me up on Sunday afternoon in her old Honda Civic. Now I know how she got to our away games. We were in the theatre and the movie started, and boy was I shocked. You are not going to believe this, but the movie was in black and white. You know, like in old photos. At first, I thought that this has to be boring, but I got sucked into the movie almost from the beginning. See, there was this guy, a British soldier in World War I, and he was in a hospital back in England, suffering from PTSD, although they called it shell shock in the movie. Anyway, he had completely forgotten everything, even his name. I got to say something about this actor, Ronald Colman. He is just so handsome and classy, although in the beginning of the movie, he is playing this lost childlike soul that your heart goes out to him. He spoke with this strange but wonderful accent that I did not recognise. I never heard a Brit speak like that before. I asked Aubrey about it, and she said it was called Mid-Atlantic. It was a combination of upper-class British and American accents. A lot of the actors back then, both British and American, spoke it. Back to the movie, so the war ends, and everyone is celebrating, and in the confusion he wanders out of the hospital. He is taken in by a lonely showgirl, played by Greer Garson. She was very beautiful. I think the black and white cinematography makes women seem more glamorous. So they fall in love, get married, and she helps him become a functional adult again, although his memory never returns. Then, one day, when he is travelling far from home for a job interview, he hits his head and the memories of his old, pre-war life come back, but all the memories of his new life had disappeared. Next time he runs into Greer, he doesn't even recognise her. I was so upset, I was about to cry. Fortunately, the movie has a happy ending. I told Aubrey that I would have been very upset if there had not been one. "Then make sure you never watch Waterloo Bridge," she warned. So after the movie, we returned to Aubrey's house. I got to meet her mum, who seemed real happy to see me. I got the idea from her that Aubrey has as few friends as I do. She insisted that I stay for dinner. So while we waited for dinner, Aubrey showed me her room. She actually had a 4-poster bed. She also had a dress form, which was currently wearing a fancy pink and white floor-length dress. Wow, I said. Is that a prom dress? That's not a dress. It is a costume, she answered. I mean, of course it is a dress, but it is intended to be part of a costume. I am making a costume of Princess Euphemia from the anime show Code Geass. An anime show? I asked. Like Pokemon? Well, yes, if Pokemon involved lots of violence and people being killed in awful ways. Really? I would have never guessed you had such dark taste. Usually, I prefer shoujo anime. She must have noticed the blank look on my face because she continued. That means anime aimed at a female audience. My favourite show is Oran High School Host Club, which I guess is a bit on the nose for me. I wanted to ask her what a Oran, or a host club was, but I decided that would just completely sidetrack the conversation. So tell me about this princess what's-her-name, Euphemia. Here, I will show you an image. She picked up her datapad and started to search it. When she found what she wanted, she turned it to face me. The pad showed a drawing of a young woman with waist-length pink hair, wearing a dress similar to the one on the dress form. Are you going to dye your hair pink? I asked. No, I have a wig. Besides, my hair is nowhere near that long. Suddenly, her face showed that she had been struck by an idea so strong, I thought that any minute that a light bulb would appear above her head. I have a great idea. You could dress up as Cornelia. Who? I asked. Euphemia's older sister. Oh, we'll look fabulous together. I looked over at the dress on the form. I think I would look stupid in something like that. First off, no you wouldn't, replied Aubrey. Second off, Cornelia does not dress like that. She usually wears a military uniform. Here, let me show you. She grabbed her pad again, and after searching for a minute, showed me a drawing of a woman. She was wearing a purplish-red high-neck military tunic with gold highlights and a white scarf at her throat. She had matching purplish-red leggings, white gloves and boots, and a long, white cape. To top it off, she had purple hair and purple lipstick. We could wear them to the next anime con, she said. It'd be great. She was very excited. Go out in public dressed like that? No way, no how. I would never be able to live it down. I am just going to have to be firm and tell her no. Then I made a mistake. I looked into her eyes. Those big puppy dog brown eyes, and all my resistance crumbled. Ah, okay, I said. She let out a high-pitched shriek and hugged me. As we sat there with our bodies pressed against each other, I suddenly started to develop some unsisterly thoughts. Fortunately, Aubrey broke the hug before my hands did something I would later regret. Sunday, Feb 2nd, so Aubrey invited me over to her house so she can measure me for the costume. She wrapped her tape measure around me at my breast, my waist, and my hips. She then entered the amounts into her pad. She also measured the length of my legs and the breadth of my shoulders and other parts of my body. She then put away the tape measure and started to look at my hair. I am sorry, Samantha, but I just cannot stand that ponytail a moment longer. What's wrong with my ponytail? Everything, she replied. She reached into her closet and pulled out a hot curlers set. Your hair is too beautiful to be in a ponytail all the time. Ponytails are reserved for bad hair days. You're not going to give me a perm, are you? I asked, eyeing the hot rollers. A perm? No way. I am way too chicken to try a home perm. No, I'm just going to roll your hair to give it some bounce. What if it looks stupid? I still was not convinced. Then, I will brush it out, and no one will be the wiser. Completely out of excuses, I had no choice but to submit. We waited until the curlers were warm, and then she started to roll up my hair. I have to say that it was quite fun to just sit there and have someone fuss over you. Now I know why ladies like to go to the beauty parlour. It looked like she used about 2/3 of her curlers before she finished. We just have to leave them in for a few minutes, she said. Meanwhile, I will start on your nails. Nails? I asked, but she had already taken my right hand. Your nails are very short, she said. You can't have long nails and play volleyball, I said. Actually, you could, but you would not keep them for long. I doubt there is anything in the volleyball rulebook about not painting your nails. She produced a bottle of red nail polish and quickly started to paint my nails. I considered stopping her, but I guess I was enjoying the attention, and she seemed to be having fun, so I relaxed and let her have her way. We talked while we waited, and soon my nails were dry, and Aubrey had decided that the curlers had preformed their magic. She turned me away from her mirror. No peeking until I'm done, she said. I waited while she unrolled all the curlers and brushed my hair out a bit. There, that should do it. Can I look now? I asked. She turned me around to the mirror. I was shocked. My flat hair was gone, replaced by a luxurious mane. "Oh, your hair is gorgeous," gushed Aubrey. "I wish my hair was that beautiful." So later I got home and ran into my mum. "Oh my God," she said. "Who are you and what did you do with my daughter?" "Very funny, Mum. Your hair looks wonderful. You should wear it like that all the time." She then noticed my nails. "You're wearing nail polish. I think your new friend is having a very good influence on you." "It's just some nail polish, Mum. It's not a big deal." "Honey," she called to my dad. "Come in here. I think we finally have a daughter." Saturday, Feb 8th, so today we had a home game against Van Buren High and my parents decided to go. They sometimes come to my Saturday games, but this was the first time this year. When we came out for the game, Aubrey was waving and cheering at me. I, of course, had to wave back, which was a mistake. Mum saw what I was doing and she must have figured out that my energetic fan must be Aubrey. I guess I never should have told Mum that Aubrey was coming to my games. Soon the two of them were talking intently, as if they were planning a conspiracy. I was paying so much attention to them that a ball went right by me and landed inbounds. That earned me a stink eye from Coach. So after the game, Mum dropped me off at home, saying she had an errand to run. She came home later with a new hot curler set. "Take this with you tomorrow when you go to Aubrey's," she said, handing me the set. "She is going to teach you how to use it." I was right. They were conspiring against me. Sunday, Feb 9th, I have never had to go through military basic training before, but I think I know now what that must feel like. Actually, I should not be so mean to Aubrey. She never yelled at me or made me do push-ups, but she did drill me on using the curlers until even I had to admit I could do it. We spent most of the afternoon practicing on each other's hair until she was satisfied with my proficiency. "So, will you finally admit that you can do this?" she asked. "Yes, you were right, I can curl my hair. Then tomorrow you can fix your hair before going to school." "Wait, what?" I exclaimed. "I can't do that." "Why not?" Because why? I couldn't come up with an objection, so I guess I will be curling my hair tomorrow morning. Monday, Feb 10th, so I went to school with my hair in a mane. I did get a few looks, but I found it did not bother me. Besides, Aubrey gave me a smile, and that made it all worthwhile. Saturday, Feb 15th, another home game, this time against Z Taylor High. Aubrey was there, as usual, but she was dressed a little weird. Instead of one of her bohemian dresses, she was wearing a sweater and a short pleated skirt. She also had long socks on her legs instead of pantyhose. The outfit was all in blue and white, which is our school colours. It was really cute. I wish I could pull off a look like that. Something just struck me. A sweater, pleated skirt and socks. It was a cheerleader outfit. Why did it take me to now to figure that out? Sunday, Feb 16th Sunday, has become my favourite day of the week because I get to spend it with Aubrey. Today she was having me try on the tunic she had made for the Cornelia costume. It had not been decorated yet, so it was just plain magenta. I called it purplish red, but Aubrey told me it was actually called magenta, and I have to admit, magenta just sounds classier than purplish red. I asked about the pants, and she said she had ordered me a pair of leggings in matching magenta, so she did not have to make the pants. But she did show me a white boot with a very high heel. "Try this on," she suggested. "But it has a heel," I pointed out. "Of course it does. All shoes have a heel. But it has a high heel. It is only a 3-inch heel. I've never worn a high heel before. Well, no time like the present to learn. Put on both boots, and I will help you practice." As I was putting on the boots, she reached into her closet and pulled out a pair of pumps with 3-inch heels. "You wear high heels?" I asked. She looked down at the pumps she had just put on her feet. "Not outside this room. At least not yet. That is what we have to do. We will go out together in our heels. We'll be 6'3". They'll laugh at us. They may laugh at one of us, but if there are two of us, they won't dare. Together, we will be statuesque, dominating goddesses. Now let's practice walking." So we walked around her room, arm in our high heel shoes. After a while, I did get the hang of it. Sunday, Feb 23rd, so today, Aubrey took me to the makeup counter in this upscale department store. There was a woman working there, wearing way too much makeup. Aubrey said she was a beauty advisor, whatever that is. They ganged up on me and convinced me to sit for a consultation. So first, the beauty advisor held up a bunch of colour cards next to my face. She said she was determining my best colour palette, whatever that means. She then said that I have warm undertones. Is that something I can brag about? I can tell all the other girls I have warm undertones. Now that they had determined my colour palette, Aubrey and the beauty advisor were having an intense discussion about what makeup would be best for me. The beauty advisor started to make purchase suggestions, and Aubrey was agreeing to almost all of them. I was getting worried, so I grabbed Aubrey's attention. "Aubrey," I whispered, I don't have a lot of money. Don't worry, it's all covered. She pulled what looked like a credit card from her purse. You can't use your credit card, I stated. It's actually a gift card. That doesn't matter. You can't spend all your money on me. Samantha, listen to me. Your mother gave me this gift card with strict orders that I was to use it to buy you as much girly stuff as possible, and that is exactly what I am doing. She paid for the makeup using my mum's gift card and then handed me the bag. As we were leaving, she spotted a display rack with brightly coloured leggings on it. Oh, you would look wonderful in those. They would really show off your legs. I doubt that, I replied. Are you kidding? Your legs are so long and shapely. Must be from all that time you spend playing volleyball. What is that thing that the guys say? You have legs up to your neck. All the girls at school would kill for legs like yours. She started to look through the large end of the rack. I don't think I can pull these off, I protested. Nonsense, you wear athletic leggings all the time and look great in them. These are just more fashionable. Well, you will never find one in my size. Too late, she exclaimed. I just found one. She pulled a pair of leggings off the rack. Now we just have to find a top to go with it. She looked around for a few minutes before she said, that one over there will be perfect. Monday, Feb 24th, boy, did I want to chicken out. And I would have, but as great as my fear was of being ridiculed, my fear of disappointing Aubrey was even greater. So I rolled my hair, put on my makeup, and dressed in the outfit Aubrey had picked out for me. My expectations for when I arrived at school vacillated between stunned shock or amazement or loud mockery. What I did not expect was almost complete indifference, which is the reaction I get most days. I guess most kids in high school are too caught up in their own dramas to care what I wear. There were some reactions. One of the guys on the basketball team said, "Looking good, Sam." Some of the girls gave me dirty looks. I do not understand why my dressing nicely should upset them. There was one extreme reaction. There is this little shrimp named Ricky Thomas who seems to have a strong dislike for me. Hey Beanpole, he said. He seems to like to call me that. Are you trying to fool everyone into thinking you're actually a girl? Are you trying to fool everyone into thinking you're a guy? I replied. I think I got that line from an old movie. Anyway, it shut him up. Of course, there was only one reaction I cared about. Oh, Samantha, you look wonderful, Aubrey said when she saw me. That made it all worthwhile. Sunday, March 2nd today, was the final fitting for our costumes for the Anime Con in 2 weeks. When I got to Aubrey's house, she was dressed in a dressing gown, had her face made up, and her hair under a wig cap. She sat me down and tucked all my hair up under a wig cap. Then she did my makeup. She put dark eyeshadow with a purple tint on my eyelids. Then she pulled out the lipstick. Purple? I asked after seeing the colour of the lipstick. Dark violet, actually, she said. It will look fabulous. She then applied it. Then it was time to don the costume. First leggings, then the military-style tunic, white boots, white gloves, and a white scarf around my neck. Then the long white cape. The final touch was a long purple wig on my head. All right, admit it, I look silly, I said. On the contrary, you look stunning, she said. She led me over to the floor-length mirror. She was right, I did look good. I was tall and commanding. I twisted from right to left to make the cape billow around me. See, she said. Now go out and show Mum while I finish dressing. I walked slowly and carefully in the high heel boots. I hit my head on a low-hanging ceiling lamp. I guess I was not used to being 6'3". When I found Aubrey's mum in the living room, she said I looked perfect. A few moments later, Aubrey came out in her long pink and white dress and long pink wig. Her mum was so excited that she made the two of us stand together so she could take pictures. Aubrey stood next to me and took my arm. It was like we were a prom couple. Saturday, March 15th today, was the day of the Anime Con. I got over to Aubrey's house early, and we helped each other get ready. Aubrey asked me if I wanted to do her makeup, so I said sure. It was much more fun to paint someone else's face, rather than painting your own face backwards in a mirror. Once we were finished, Aubrey's mum drove us to the con, because Aubrey did not want to try to drive in her princess dress. I was nervous. No, take that back, I was extremely nervous. The boots were actually a help. I was concentrating so much on not falling down while walking in those heels that I did not have time to worry about people looking at us. The con had a large open space where people in costume can show themselves so others can take pictures. Now, what was that term that Aubrey used for people in costumes like ours? Oh, yes, cosplayers. Aubrey led me into the space where all the cosplayers had gathered, and soon we were surrounded by people who were taking our pictures and telling us how great we looked. I should have been petrified, but I found it kind of exciting. Besides, who is going to recognize me in this getup? I noticed a group of cosplayers wearing what must be some type of military uniform. They wore a cropped tan jacket with a wing design on the back, grey jeans tucked into high brown boots, and some type of harness around their waist. I asked Aubrey what show they were from. "Do you like watching horror movies in which people die in horrible and gory ways?" she asked. "Not really, no," I replied. "Then that show is not for you." There was another group that were wearing kimonos over old-fashioned military uniforms and carrying Japanese swords. I asked Aubrey about them, and she said their show wasn't too scary. There were also a lot of people dressed as Sailor Scouts. How is this for cultural osmosis? I know the name and appearance of the Sailor Scouts, and I have never watched an episode of Sailor Moon. I wrote people earlier because some of the Sailor Scout cosplayers were guys. Some of these guys looked far better than I would in a Sailor Scout uniform. Then there were some slackers who didn't bother to shave off their facial hair. If I have to shave my legs, and other places, to look presentable in my volleyball short shorts, they could at least shave off their beards. Then a girl with long blonde hair and dressed as Sailor Venus approached us. I recognised her as Vicky Walters, one of the most popular girls at school. She was saying nice things about our costumes, so I said thank you. "Oh my God, I recognise that voice," she said. "Sam Cooper, is that you?" Yes. I am always so smooth under pressure. Did you make your costume?" "No, Aubrey did," I replied, gesturing to Aubrey. "You must be the new girl? I'm Vicky. Your costumes are amazing." "Thank you," replied Aubrey. "And your Sailor Venus is great." Vicky leaned toward us and stage whispered store bought. "Straightening out," she said. "I would really like to make a Mount Lady costume." "I can help with that," said Aubrey. Mount Lady sounded pornographic to me, but Aubrey said that she was a Japanese superhero. After our feet got tired, Aubrey suggested we get some rest by sitting and watching some yaoi. I asked her what yaoi was, but she just smiled and said that I would just have to wait and find out. So yaoi is romance between cute boys. Weird, right? Yet it really turned me on. I think that I might be a perv. Thursday, March 20th today, we had a home game against Garfield High. Aubrey had organised a cheer squad among the sisters, mothers, and female friends who attended the game. They all wore matching, blue and white sweaters, and the younger ones even wore short pleated skirts like Aubrey's. I almost felt sorry for the Garfield team. They did not have a cute cheer squad. I did not feel bad enough to go easy on them though, because we crushed them. Sunday, March 23rd, when Aubrey picked me up today, she did not take the route to her house. "Where are we going?" I asked. "To my favourite fashion store. They have a sizable collection of clothes that will fit tall girls like us." We parked before a storefront in a strip mall. Inside, Aubrey introduced me to the owner, a middle-aged woman with a thick East European accent named Mariska. "Your friend is so tall like you, Aubrey," she said. "Is she like you too?" Aubrey seemed embarrassed by the question. No, not like me." What did that all mean? How am I not like Aubrey? Since she seemed a little upset by the question, I decided it would be best if I just pretended that I did not hear the exchange. Aubrey led me into the hosiery section. We'll start at the base level. She looked through the packages on display and finally handed me one. Pantyhose. Really? I had not worn pantyhose since... Actually, I cannot remember the last time I wore pantyhose. Not pantyhose, just hose, she said. "What's the difference?" "Hose do not have a crotch. They only come up to your thighs. Like what the anime girls wear," I added. "Yes, but unlike them, we are real and not cartoon characters. We have to worry about our hose slipping down. Fortunately, we have these." Aubrey held up some small piece of pink lingerie. At first, I thought it was a thong, but then I noticed that it was actually a thin belt with straps hanging down that ended in little snaps. "What is that?" I asked. "It's a garter belt. You use it to hold up your hose," she answered. "It's also convenient, because if you run your garters under your panties, you won't have to drop your hose to go to the bathroom." Bathroom convenience aside, I don't see why you don't just wear pantyhose. It's not like anyone is going to notice the difference. You will notice, and that is what makes all the difference. She then found a bra and panty set that matched the garter belt. "Take these to the fitting rooms and try them on." So I marched back to the fitting rooms, and once inside of one of them, I stripped off my sweats and underwear. Since Aubrey suggested I run my garters under my panties, I decided to put the hose and the garter belt on first. I sat on the bench, and it was really cold against my bare ass. I then pulled the hose on first, and I must admit, they really felt great on my legs. Then I stood up and pulled on the garter belt until it was around my waist, and then I arranged the garters until they were lined up with my hose. Then it struck me. I had no idea how to hook these garters on. The hose looked so delicate that I was afraid that the mere touch of the snap would run them. I tried, but every time I got close, I would chicken out. I finally gave up and called for help. "Aubrey," I called through the door. "Are you okay in there?" she asked. "Could you come in? I could really use some help." The door opened just enough to allow Aubrey to squeeze in. "What's the matter?" she asked as she closed it behind her. "How do you hook these things?" I pleaded. "Oh, you just..." She looked down, and I guess she realized that I wasn't decent because she quickly turned away. Now that was a strange reaction. Being an athlete, you're often naked in front of your teammates, and they are often naked in front of you, so you quickly get used to it. I guess Audrey had not spent a lot of time in the girls' locker room. She finally got herself back into control and showed me how to hook on my garters without creating a run. She then handed me the bra and panties set. I pulled on the panties, and I was glad I keep myself so trim due to my volleyball shorts because these panties covered very little. She helped me on with the bra because I had not worn a non-sports bra in ages. The bra seemed almost non-existent, but it did push me up and out. Now with the whole set on, Aubrey turned me toward the mirror on the wall. "Oh, Samantha, you are gorgeous," she said. For once, I had to agree with her. The lingerie gave me shape I did not know I had. "Wait here," Aubrey said. "I will be right back." She left, and I sat back on the bench, which felt almost as cold with the panties on as they did with them off. She returned several minutes later with a pink dress and a pair of high heel pumps. I thought I might object, but on second thought, why bother? I would eventually let her have her way. Maybe I should object to Aubrey using me as a dress-up doll, but in truth, I like it when she fusses over me. Wednesday, March 26th sometimes, Vicky will sit at lunch with us, so she and Aubrey can discuss cosplay stuff. Today they were discussing ideas for the three of us to dress as a group. Vicky suggested a complete Sailor Scout group, with Aubrey and I playing Sailor Jupiter and Uranus, although neither could decide which of us would play which scout. Vicky also suggested that I would make a great Wonder Woman. Good luck getting me to go out in public in a bustier. Sunday, March 30th today, it was decided that a pair of young, classy, sophisticated, and very statuesque young women should have an outing. And where should our pair of young, classy, sophisticated, and very statuesque young women go? We decided on the art museum because it was classy and sophisticated, like we were, and could be afforded by middle-class suburban teenagers on an allowance. Last Sunday, Aubrey had purchased for herself new undergarments and a pink dress similar to the one she had picked out for me. This morning, we styled each other's hair, gave each other daytime makeup, and dressed ourselves in all our new clothes and our new high heels, a process that took almost as long as the tour did. After we were finally finished, we stood next to each other in Aubrey's mirror, and despite all my doubts, we definitely looked the part. We were ready to proceed to our destination after Aubrey's mother put us through a detailed photo shoot. I do not know the first thing about art, so I did not understand the abstract modern style, but I did enjoy the more classical pieces. As we walked around, I was waiting for someone to confront me and say, "Who are you trying to fool? You are just an oversized, clumsy child pretending to be a woman, so stop this silly charade." But nobody said that. They just greeted us with smiles and a nod. With Aubrey holding my hand or my arm, I felt that this was really me. I don't have to be who people think I am just because of my size. I can be the person I want to be. After the tour, Aubrey and I went to an upscale restaurant. Well, about as upscale as two middle-class suburban teenagers on an allowance can afford. They did not offer us the wine list, but otherwise treated us as the classy young ladies we appeared to be. Overall, thanks to Aubrey's sorcery, it was a magical day. Sunday, April 6th, OMG. 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 Calm down, Samantha. You have to get this down. So we had a quiet Sunday and was watching the latest episode from our current favourite K-drama before I had to go home. When the episode ended, I turned toward Aubrey, and I guess she did the same. The result was that our faces were less than an inch apart. And then it happened. I am not sure how, but we were suddenly kissing. Her lips were soft and warm, and I was in sheer bliss. But I guess one of us came to our senses and pulled back. For a minute or two, we just looked at each other. Finally, Aubrey said, "I guess I should take you home now." We barely spoke on the way home. Have those boys always been right? Am I really a lesbian? Monday, April 7th, OMG. 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 Freaking out 2 days in a row. Still, I have bigger reasons for a freak out today than yesterday. Maybe I should start in chronological order. Aubrey was not in school today, which was not a big deal, but I really wanted to talk to her. When I got home, I decided that I should get in some road work, so I put on my running outfit and took off. I actually find running as an exercise to be very boring, so my mind usually wanders as I run. Today, of course, all my thoughts were of Aubrey. Did she hate me now? Will she never hang out with me again? When my thoughts finally returned to what I was doing, I realised that I was not on my usual loop. Instead, I found that I had ran most of the way to Aubrey's house. Bowing to the inevitable, I finished the journey. When I reached her house, I knocked on the door. I then performed my cool-down by walking back and forth. Some time went by, so I knocked again. I was just about to leave when the door opened. Aubrey, with wet hair and wearing a bathrobe, opened the door. "Hi, Samantha," she said with a smile. "Hi, Aubrey. Sorry I bothered you in the shower." "Oh no, I was finished. Come on in." She led me into the house and to her bedroom, where we sat down facing each other. "I'm glad you came," she said. "I wanted to talk to you. The boys say that if a girl wants to talk, it is always bad news. I know that you draw a lot of flack for being friends with someone like me," she said. "But it will get worse if you start have a romantic relationship with a boy who always dresses like a girl." I don't care what people think. Suddenly, Aubrey's words hit my brain like a sledgehammer. "Wait, what? You're a boy?" Yay. Come on, Aubrey. Don't tease me like this. But I am not teasing you. You have to have noticed by now. I try my best to pass, but I'm not very good at it. Now I was getting a little annoyed. "I don't know why you are playing this joke on me, but..." With a deep sigh, Aubrey stood up and opened the front of her bathrobe. I can't tell you if her body had a feminine shape, or if she had real breast, or just always wore falsies, because my eyes could only concentrate on Big Al and the twins. Mercifully, she closed her robe, and I was able to pop my eyes back in their sockets. The smart thing to do at this moment would be to speak words of reassurance. But when have I ever done the smart thing? I rose up, took her in my arms, and kissed her. At first she seemed to hesitate, and then she wrapped her arms around me and drew me in. After that, we talked and kissed. Mostly kissed, until I decided that I had to get home before my parents started to worry that I had been run over by a truck. When I got home, I ran into my mum, who immediately asked me what was wrong. "I have to tell you something about Aubrey," I answered. "Okay," she said in a guarded manner. "She's a boy." There was dead silence for a while, and then Mum said, "And? What do you mean, and?" I asked. "And as in I was expected you to tell me something I didn't already know. You knew Aubrey was a boy. You didn't." "My God, Sam, she has an Adam's apple." She looked at me sternly. "You didn't say anything rude or insulting to her?" "No," I replied. She seemed to study me. "I gather that you and Aubrey are no longer just friends. Does that bother you?" I asked. "Samantha May Cooper, I told you long ago that I don't care about the gender or skin tone of your sweethearts. Only their character, and Aubrey is the most noble young person I have ever met. In fact, I think she is way too good for you." She paused for a moment and then said, "I think we need to have the birth control discussion again. I will spare you, journal, the mortifying half hour I had to endure. Tuesday, April 8th. It is the middle of the night, and I cannot sleep. There are too many thoughts running through my head. Maybe if I write them down, I could get some sleep tonight. I am about to do something really silly. I seen other girls doing it, and I always thought they were crazy, but now I am about to do it. So here goes. Try not to laugh. Mrs. Samantha May Carter." There I did it, and looking at it, it sort of gives me a thrill. Now I have become one of those silly girls who plans out their romantic future in complete detail. On the bright side, I would not have to change my monograms, if I had any. This brings up lots of questions. If we did get married and had a formal wedding, would we both wear white dresses? Who would get to walk down the aisle? Hold on, girl, there are many more questions then. Who gets to pick out the china patterns? Aubrey gets to choose the future she wants to live in, and I have to accept that. Will she stay as she is, or will she decide to go all the way? And if she does, will there be a place for me? Will I want to stay with her if she did? This is all making my head hurt. Last year, all I was worried about was winning a volleyball scholarship, and now, my life has become so complicated. But hey, it won't be boring. I guess I should not worry so much about the future that it ruins my time with her now. We both haven't even turned 18 yet. We still have another year of high school left. I should enjoy the time that we have now, and not worry about the future. Even if it all ends tomorrow, I will have no regrets. She has given me so much. I look back at the beginning of this journal, and I cannot believe I was once that lonely little girl. She has brought me out of my shell, and I will always be thankful for that. I don't know what the future will bring, but I know it will be exciting. There is something else I know. I love Aubrey.